what are we going to do, coach?
Yeah.
You're going to learn to fight. You're going to learn to play basketball. You're going to take this butt kicking, and then we're going to go back to the lab, put in work, and we're going to get better. And I think it was our first year, we lost to one of the teams from Oakland by 50 points our first game. And these kids came to us looking at us like, y'all lied. And it was like, nah, this is life. This is what you're going to do. You got to put in the work. And we went to the lab, and the last game of the season, we played that exact same team. But we were short two of our best players. And we go into halftime winning by like almost 10 points. And the kids are looking at us like, it worked. We put in the work. We got this lead. In my head as a coach, I've been doing this for a number of years. Hey, y'all about to lose this game.
Same business, different day.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Same Business, Different Day podcast. I'm your host, Zeke Corley. I want to thank all of our continued listeners and welcome the new ones that have just started listening to our podcast after the very important two-part episode we did on education. That was awesome. By the time this airs, you may have already listened to it. If not, please check it out. We are extremely proud of that episode. First, as always, I want to introduce you to my wonderful co-host, Alyssa Lee Good. How you doing today?
Doing well.
Good.
I want to give a shout out to our listeners, thank them for listening, and remind everyone to please comment on our YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere that you're listening to our podcast. If you could subscribe, comment, give us some feedback, we'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to tell everyone that the goal of this show remains the same. We're all about inspiring current business owners and future entrepreneurs by telling the stories of those who've taken that leap themselves. Not just part of the story, but the whole story. Because within those stories, we can all find common ground. And sometimes that common ground is the only reminder that we need to say, I can do it too. I found common ground with these two guests that we have today. And that's why we've been friends for over 20 years. Loyalty, concern for others, willingness to put in the work, and a fantastic storyteller. Those are a few ways I would describe Orlando. But one of my favorite ways to think of him is simply as a common sense leader. In many situations in my life, I found myself thinking, what would Orlando do? Please welcome my conscience, Orlando Watkins, to the program.
Thank you for having me. And that was really touching. I would have cried, but
I might cry by the end of this podcast.
No.
The longevity of a good business owner depends on a number of traits. One of the most important is reliability. Someone who can always deliver on exactly what they promised. Our second guest stands on that, introducing my motivation, Demetrius Roquemore.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Right on. Alyssa, would you please explain the rules of the game today?
I will. So we're here to talk about you two, talk about your professional lives. But before we get there, we want to get to know you on a personal level. So when it feels right, we will reveal what you do in your careers, but don't reveal too soon. Let us talk about you first.
That's right. Yeah, I want to point out these are the first guests that flew down for the podcast.
Yeah.
Right? They flew down from Northern California now there was another guest that was supposed to fly down and missed his flight.
Yeah.
So we had to do that on Zoom.
Jim Lawrence, he's still coming.
He's still coming.
That's all right.
Yes. So but we will we are happy to welcome you guys here. And we want to start early on, right?
Yeah, where'd you guys grow up? Orlando, go ahead.
I grew up in the Bay Area, and the reason why I like to say the Bay Area, I was born in San Francisco, moved to Oakland right after my birth, and then went to school until the second grade, and then moved back to San Francisco and then moved back to Oakland in the 6th grade and then lived in Oakland the rest of my life, but still went to school in San Francisco. So I like to say the Bay because the Bay, no matter what nobody says, it really boils down to Oakland and San Francisco. I mean, San Jose, Vallejo, all those other people get mad at me, but the Bay is really San Francisco.
My uncle lives in Richmond. He'd be like, well, we're here.
Yeah,
we're not going to talk about
I went
that.
to San Jose, so.
I like Richmond. It's cool. It really is.
Okay.
But it's not Oakland or San Francisco.
No, it's not Oakland or San
Fair
Francisco.
enough. Fair enough. How was that moving back and forth between the two places?
Wow, that was it was great, and it helped mold who I am because I went from mom's single parent household to grandma and grandpa. So I got the old school stuff, and I'm gonna leave that stuff from them. And then grandma was like, I want to move to Sacramento, and grandpa was like, we're moving to Sacramento, and mom was like, well, you coming back to Oakland? And so I went back to Oakland. And they were like, nah, we don't want you to go to school in Oakland. You're just going to learn to commute on your own at 13. And so basically from like 12. From 12 on, I commuted back and forth to Oakland and San Francisco. And there were times where I had to run to make that last BART train at midnight, or else I was stuck in San Francisco.
Right.
Or it was like, can I stay at somebody's house? And no matter who I said house I was going to stay at, it was always, nah, you better run and make it so, hey, I do what mom says. So, it was nice. It made me who I am. It made me try to be punctual and make sure you meet all those deadlines.
Okay. Demetrius, how about you? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in San Francisco in between the Fillmore and Hunters Point.
Oof.
Yeah.
But you got to give background to that because people, they're going to be like, that was two
Tell
sides.
us a little bit about
that's
what that's
two
like.
combative sides.
And about what time period?
This was, from 80s to mid 90s until I moved out of there.
So what was Fillmore and Hunters Point like in the 80s?
I mean, it's the crack era.
Okay.
To be specific.
That's right.
And that's kind of where I, learned my swag and everything that I was taught from, just growing up, man, in the hard knocks and just living life. Yeah.
Now you had to have from various points, of a perspective, you can find mentors. And I imagine that during that time, as you're growing up, you still have people who are, either people you should or shouldn't look up to. Did you have mentors at a young age?
I had mentors. I really wouldn't necessarily call a lot of them mentors. It's just people I learned from, and that could be, from the guy selling crack on the corner to the lady doing a crosswalk for us. I took a little bit of something from everybody. And, there were certain people in pivotal points that kind of looked out for me. But, I took it upon myself to be nosy and check everybody out and just kind of learn a little something from everyone.
That's good. And that's really, you're both kind of saying the same thing when it comes to that. Like you said, with the schools, Orlando, the education, it helped you not just schools, but going back and forth helped mold you to who you are today, right? Yeah. And the same thing that Demetrius is saying is you kind of paying attention to others, and it's not necessarily mimicking, but we're an amalgamation of the people that we have learned from, throughout the years, or we watched throughout the years, right? I always think about the number of friends my father had, or people that we would call family members, my godfather and so forth on down the line. And it's like, I have his laugh. I walk like him. It's little pieces of everyone that kind of influence you, right?
Yeah, of course. I have my grandfather's scowl, but I have my mom's attitude.
Okay.
But I have the kindness of my grandmother.
Right.
So you learn from within the household, and then outside the household. Like when I was on BART, I was like, hey, between these two street stops, you can't go to sleep. You got to be up. But after you get past that, you could take a nap. And so you learn through life experience, which is not something coming from the inner streets. It's just life.
That's life.
That's life. And we actually share one mentor but I don't know how much he affects us in what we do. And we'll get to that later on. Right. See, I listen. I get into that.
Follow the rules.
The Film Hub is the future of co-working right in downtown Vista. Get energized to go to a safe work environment that is clean and sanitized. Create video content, live stream events, and all of your marketing material in our audio and video facility. Come and visit us at thefilmhubinc.com.
The Vista Chamber of Commerce is a proud supporter of the Same Business, Different Day podcast. We support our business members with promotion and marketing, business referrals, educational opportunities, workforce development, and advocacy. Check us out online at vistachamber.org.
You need insurance, and you need yourinsuranceplace.com as your brokers. And I'll tell you why. They have access to hundreds of carriers, and we're never left without results. Not even the hard-to-place risks. A good insurance broker is a problem solver. Our team is dedicated to getting you covered. Take time to shop with yourinsuranceplace.com. Save money, get protected. Yourinsuranceplace.com.
Yeah. So we'll get on to that later on.
How about early jobs? You remember like your first jobs? Did you work?
My first job was Copeland Shoe Store.
Okay.
I was the king of the 2 for $45, 2 for $55, 2 for $29.99.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to sell shoes. And what happened was, true story, my mom, I came home one day late. But it was my fault, but it really wasn't my fault. And she woke up and she was like, hey, you got to be out my house when you turn 18. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm a 3.0 student. I'm about to graduate high school. What's the problem? It was your car that broke down. It wasn't me. Nah, you got to be out my house by 18. So that's how I got the job at Copeland. So I'm working, saving up money and everything. And then my 18th birthday come. Oh, let me back it up because love you, Mom. God rest your soul. 30 days before my birthday, I got Post-it notes on my door.
Oof.
30 days, you gone.
Oh, my gosh.
29 days, you out of here. All the way down to my birthday. Boom.
Happy birthday.
Day. And I'm like, she not serious. Come on now.
Oh, you weren't taking it serious.
Nah, because my mom, she gets mad, but I'm like, this issue happened in December. My birthday's in April. So she just held it all the way till April. And then it was like, in March. Let's start counting these days now. And so I was just like, all right, Mom. Now, once again, I get my attitude from my mom. So I hold things a little longer than normal people do. So I came home on my birthday, no card, no cake or nothing. And I leave my girlfriend's house at the time because she had a cake and card for me. So I went there, came home before curfew. I stick my key in the door so slow, try to turn it so quiet. It opens up. I'm like, oh, she didn't lock me out. I'm good.
Oh, no.
I took 2 steps in. She's like, what are you doing here?
Oh, gosh.
What are you, going to sleep? Nah. I told you on your birthday, you done. You 18. You a grown man.
Oh, my gosh.
So you got to get out. And literally going back, just telling the truth.
That's right.
I had to run from my house to Bart to make it back to my girlfriend's house so I could sleep there.
Before the last train.
I'm striking through the projects and everything, trying to get there. I made the BART train, slept at her house, and then the next day I moved in with my brother momentarily. Then me and my grandmother, who was living with my mom, moved out, and we lived together. So,
interesting.
Yeah, she was like, you can't do that to that baby. And she's like, yes, I can. He's my baby. And she's like, well, I'm going to go with him. And my mom, being my mom, was like, well, you go with him then.
I'm going to put some Post-it notes on your door, too.
No, she didn't even get Post-it notes. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's made me.
That's learning.
Yeah.
That's learning.
It's learning.
Yeah.
Take
tough
everything
love, boy.
people say seriously. So, yeah.
Love it.
So you're selling shoes to make
Selling
that
shoes
rent
to make that money.
Yeah.
I started it beforehand just so I had a little money just in case. But I was like, gosh, she's not going to do it. I'll just use this money to pay for my prom or whatever. Nah, we used it. It's okay. I've never missed a rent day.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. You remember your first jobs?
Man, my first job, I probably was about 11 years old directing traffic for the 49er games, man.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, trying to make tips and things like that. And, paper route. I had a paper route for about 2 or 3 weeks, and, that was fun until it wasn't. And that was pretty much it. I had another job. My aunt bought me a pair of clippers when I was about 12. And, started cutting my own hair and then learned how to cut hair and cutting the kids in the neighborhood hair. And that probably was my first taste of entrepreneurship.
Did you make some decent money off of it?
I made a lot of money.
Okay.
I made a lot of money.
You had a line.
Yeah, I made a lot of money, man. I cut, the black kids' hair, the Asian kids' hair. I cut everybody's hair.
Yeah.
And that took me through college, being able to cut hair. And so, even to this day, it's something that I'm thankful for because it's a trade that I was able to learn. And, COVID hits, guess what? I can cut some hair. And so, my neighbors need a haircut, my kids need a haircut. Hey, I cut everybody's hair. We good. So
I love this. I love these stories because really this is what we're talking about. And this is what we're trying to inspire is the future entrepreneurs, right? And as you're trying to inspire those folks, we can hear some stories that, maybe you can identify with, maybe you can't, but a lot of people can. And we have to tell it from every angle in order to see the future, right?
True.
Let's talk about school, college. Where'd you guys go to college?
Man, I touched a little bit of every college in California. I chasing the basketball dream, went to several junior colleges trying to figure it out. Then I guess my last stop was Allen Hancock Junior College, and I found out that through the Veteran Affairs Association, because my dad was in the Navy, that I got a pass to attend any state university or junior college for free through that. And so, I walked in the coach's office and said, hey, we're about 6-6 right now. I'm not really shooting the ball that much as I like to, unless you're going to let me shoot the ball every time so I get this scholarship. I think I'm good, man. And so, I took that waiver to San Francisco State, finished up there with a bachelor's and a master's in communications.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's my role model.
Man.
Yeah.
A master's in communications. You should be running this podcast instead of me.
I got lucky, man. I ran into a professor in junior college. I didn't have a major picked, and he said, you should think about speech. I said, well, hey, this guy's black. He seems cool. I think I can get an A in his class. So I took the class. Took the class, got the A. He said, what are you going to, major in? I said, communications, I guess. And so, no math involved? No math involved. I said, all right. I'm with that, man.
That's how I got my major too. English and theater.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have to take math.
No math
I'll do
involved,
it.
baby.
Let's do it.
So, from there, I, went on to state and had some great mentors there and some people who actually advocated for me to get my master's. And so that was that.
That's beautiful, right? Because there's a lot of people, you can take it in different directions, right? Some people, they just get, maybe a year or two in college and they just keep moving in their direction, right? Let's start businesses. Let's go work for somebody or whatever. And then there's other people that have different avenues. Like not every, some people go into trades, right? And then some people just continue on to those other degrees. And, maybe you can put them to use, or maybe you lost a couple years. You'll figure it out. But the key is to understand that you're still at a young age, right? Alyssa still goes to school.
I just applied for my master's. So.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in yet, but I
You're
applied.
getting in.
I'm working on it.
We're going to speak it into existence. Don't worry about it.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Tell us about school for you, Alana.
Man, school for me is tough because I have to explain it to you guys, but I can't explain what I do. And so I'm going to give you just the cold, hard truth. I only went to school to play basketball.
Okay.
That was my focus.
Okay.
And I was that naive young guy that was like, I'm going to get a D1 scholarship. I don't care what goes on. I went to a junior college. I was the second youngest on the team. And because of who I am, I became a leader because I was like, man, you just messed up. They're like, man, we ain't listening to you, young cat. And then Coach would be like, nah, he's right. You just messed up.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start listening to you, young cat. And so I played basketball, but academics was secondary. I just wanted to play basketball. And most junior colleges now will allow you to play basketball for 2 years. And at the end of your 2 years, you have nothing to fall back on. And that happened to me. It was just like, oh, I passed all these classes. Look at my grades. Yeah, none of those are transferable.
Oh.
Wow.
So they just put you in classes so they can use you for 2 years. And then if you do get a scholarship, then they'll be like, okay, you need to do this, this, and this in the summertime for you to get that scholarship.
Wow.
That didn't happen for me. So it was just like, okay, Orlando, you're done. And I was like, okay, no AA, no scholarship. What am I going to do? It's sort of like when mom kicked me out. All right, let's get this done. And I put together a plan. I had some good people in my corner. And I got into the same school that D got into, San Francisco State. And then I had to pay for it. And then it hit me again. Wait a minute. I'm not playing basketball. Basketball is my motivation for school. What am I going to do? And I struggled for that first semester. And I actually failed every class that first semester. Wow. And then I came down to San Diego. I visited a person. Okay. This guy.
Who could that have been?
I know. I just came down to visit this guy. And when I was down here, my mom had an aneurysm.
Oh, wow.
And so after we were done, because she had the aneurysm as I was coming back, I started working. So I dropped out of school and was like, I got to make money to pay the bills. Me and my mom reconciled over the thing with the grandma and everything like that. And so I just started working. And I had some pretty good jobs. Now I'm back in school because of what I want to do in 2 or 3 years, which we'll get to later. So once again, I'm abiding by the rules.
That's all right. We're going to get to it.
All this will come together soon.
It's time. Let's get to the reveal now. Since 1999, Orlando is a teacher and head coach of the great Oakland High School basketball team. 2020 Coach of the Year, winning city and section championships, and counseling and coaching players that have thrived in the next level, including an MVP candidate in the current NBA season. Since 2003, Demetrius has been promoting the premier parties and events for athletes and celebrities in the Bay Area. On top of that, he runs his own photo booth and wedding planning businesses. Wait, there's more. Demetrius is also a coach of the Sacred Heart Cathedral's girls basketball team, and Orlando and Demetrius are the owners of the nonprofit organization, the Bay Area Wildcats, teaching life lessons through sports. They speak on their website about developing great people, great students, and great athletes in that order. We are so proud to have you guys on the show today.
Thanks for being here. Now this makes us speak. Back. Goodness gracious.
Just talk about what you want to talk about now.
I do want to hear though about taking that leap though, starting your own business, starting the Bay Area Wildcats. Tell me how that all culminated.
Truthfully, it wasn't supposed to happen.
Okay.
For years, I've been working out kids. Demetrius has been working out kids, and kids that I worked out.
Explain what working out kids means, please.
Individual training. I'm sorry. We train kids. I've trained outside of my basketball team easily a couple hundred kids. Demetrius probably the same number, right?
Same.
Yeah. And then parents start coming back to me. My son doesn't like basketball anymore. Well, he seemed fine when he's with me. What's going on? This AAU experience, and these are younger kids, not high school kids.
Okay.
So I'm talking 4th, 5th, 6th graders, and they don't like basketball no more. You need to start an AAU program. Nah, I can't do that because where we're from, there are some big AAU programs there, and I'm like, I'm not trying to compete with them. They were like, no, you need to do it because my son isn't having fun. My daughter's not having fun. I have my high school team to worry about, and raising money for that, I can't do both of them. And the parents just came to us and was like, well, what does it cost? And I went to D and I was like, D, man, they want us to do this AAU. And at first, he was like me. He's like, nah, we don't have the time. And then all of a sudden, he was just like, yeah, we got to do it. And we started it with 8 kids.
Yep.
8 kids of different grades. Normally, AAU, you have like, okay, this is your 12U, your 11U, 13U, whatever it is. We had kids, what was T at the time? 9. So we had a 9, a 10, and like 9, 10, 11, and then 5 12Us. And so we got babies out there playing against 12U kids, and the kids are looking at us like, what are we going to do, coach?
Yeah.
You're going to learn to fight. You're going to learn to play basketball. You're
Right.
going to take this butt kicking, and then we're going to go back to the lab, put in work, and we're going to get better. And I think it was our first year, we lost to one of the teams from Oakland by 50 points our first game. And these kids came to us looking at us like, y'all lied. And it was like, nah, this is life. You know, this is what you're going to do. You got to put in the work. And we went to the lab, and the last game of the season, we played that exact same team. But we were short 2 players, 2 of our best players. And we go into halftime winning by like almost 10 points. And the kids are looking at us like, it worked. We put in the work. We got this lead. In my head as a coach, I've been doing this for a number of years. Hey, y'all about to lose this game. I didn't say that to them.
By 49.
No. I was like, you guys going to lose this game. And the only reason they lost the game, they just ran out of steam.
Sure.
They had no subs. It's like, I'm going to give you my all. Let's see if you're going to break. And then ultimately the kids just broke. We ended up losing by, I think, 9.
6.
But 6. I'm sorry.
That's still a success, though.
To go from 50, 40 to 6. The kids were like, we can't wait till we start again. Coach, when we're going to start again.
Oh, right.
Yes.
But when we started this, it was like, we're going to do this for 1 year and then we're good.
Oh, okay.
And then when the kid said that, he looked at me and I looked at him and was like, I guess we got to do this another year, huh?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, we got to figure this out.
Yes.
Truthfully, that's how it really started.
And how many years have you been doing it?
What is this, 5,
5.
6?
5?
Yeah, 5
Okay.
years. And we went from that first year of 1 team to the next year we had 3 teams. We sort of put them in their age group.
Okay.
And then we had 4, 5, we're up to 7 now?
7. Yeah.
So we've talked to a number of people who have started businesses, and we've talked to them about the various routes that they could take, right? We have talked to somebody just last week. We spoke to Dave Baldwin, who runs his financial management business, who went from working for a Fortune 500 company, Edward Jones, to starting his own. We've talked to Shane Paul.
Yeah, the franchise.
Yeah, where he moved from, training people and working for Jack in the Box to owning 7 Jack in the Box franchises. I'm not sure we've yet spoken, and no disrespect to anybody if I forget, but to anyone who started a nonprofit organization. Demetrius, tell us about what goes into the thought process of starting a nonprofit organization. Why do it, and what does that entail?
I mean, I think it all depends on what your vision is for what you want to do. I think that's the thing that the very first thing that you have to do is figure out what your mission is, right? What are you trying to do and what are you trying to accomplish? I think for us, it was not just about basketball, right? You got a lot of clubs and programs out there that are just about basketball. They don't, enforce grades or, teach any type of lessons other than basketball. It's like I have a friend who has a kid. He's playing these games and his team is winning by 40. Team's still pressing. They still, picking up the other team full court. And it's like, okay, well, what are we getting out of this? Is your kid getting better? Probably not. Are you helping the other kids get better? Probably not. What lessons are we taking from this other than we just beat this team by 40 and everybody's happy about it? And so I think for us, more or less, it was, what can we teach along with teaching the game of basketball, because everybody's not going to be a professional. Some kids, may not even play college. That's a task in itself. And so, being able to teach life lessons and teaching kids how to be accountable and, you know, how to work as a team and how to be responsible, I think are things that can carry out later on in life. And so we came up with a mission, you know, did all the paperwork, and, you know, and that was that. I think for us, more or less, it's just a situation that, you know, we can express ourselves through these kids, teach these lessons, and be able to sleep at night, right? You got a lot of programs that got these kids, and kids will average 40, you know, in AAU basketball, and then don't have the grades to play high school, or barely have the grades to play high school. And you spend all this time playing basketball, not enough time on the academics, and it's all a waste at the end of the day because the kid can't move on because the other parts of life weren't taken care of.
Right.
We talked about that a bit in our education episode. Just the fact that a lot of kids are missing out on sports, and the idea that, you know, playing basketball or football or running track and field, it's not just about the sport. Of course, you know, that's on the kid's mind, but later in life you realize how much you learned, just a leadership aspect, a teamwork aspect. You go to work and you have to sit in an office with people and you say, well, I know how to work with somebody else because we had to make a game plan on the field and go and do that. And so what you guys are doing is incredible work because the kids are here. Well, we're here to play basketball, but you're here to do a lot more than that.
It's funny. I think our kids know that once they get, I think, to the 7th grade, it's not just about basketball.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, because we instill them from the beginning. Hey, man, some of you guys might not make your junior high school team. Some of you might not make your high school team.
Okay.
But we're going to do everything we can to teach you what you need to do that, but more so how to be successful in life.
Love it.
And we have right now our first class, they're freshmen in high school. And it's tough because they're in COVID.
Yeah.
You know, and Zeke doesn't know what COVID's like to go to high school. I'm sure you don't know. We don't know. So these kids are always hitting us with questions and what do we do, or this is going on. And we're just like, hey, man, take a deep breath. It's like the game. Let's figure out a game plan.
Okay.
And I think that's where
it's like the game.
Yeah.
Let's just figure out I love
perfect.
that.
That's
Let's
a
just
life
figure out a
lesson
game plan.
that people got to understand. It's like, just take a step back, because you just going balls to the wall with no plan is not going to work. It's going to wear you out. You're going to get frustrated. Take a step back, deep breath, drink some water. Let's get a game plan. And so I think we've instilled it in those kids. And I would say out of our high school kids, none of those kids are struggling academically. No. You know, our younger kids are struggling. I mean, D's being nice, you know, we get everything get dumped on us. When you're a coach, whether it's AAU, whether you're a good person or not, you get stuff dumped on you. A kid might tell you, Coach, I'm not feeling it. I want to kill myself. Coach, I'm not feeling it. I want to run away. Coach, I'm not feeling it. I want to start drinking. And it's just like, whoa. Let's figure out, let's do X, Y, and Z. Let's get this game plan together so that we can succeed. So I don't think it was our plan for the Barry Wildcats to be this, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, family oriented.
Okay.
But we did it from the beginning. Our break, every time we break, Wildcats on 3, family on 6. And the kids, they know it. We're like, all right, let's get our break. Or somebody cut it off, 1, 2, 3, Wildcats, 1, 2, 3, family. And it just carries through. We went to Vegas. I got to cry right now because Vegas is a great trip for our program. And we took the whole program to Vegas. And parents were like, okay, you take the kids tonight. We're going to take them tomorrow. And it was a family environment of strangers. If you really went back a year or 2 years, they were complete strangers. They're like, keep the kids. We're going to go have a good time. We're a big family. And they really embrace the Wildcats family.
That kind of goes back to your earlier lessons, like we were saying, the lessons that you guys have been learning.
Yeah.
And so you put your heart into it. And I love that, the way that You just broke it down to why it's a nonprofit organization, and I think that was a great decision. And that doesn't mean that you guys will never see a dime, or that you can't live. But what it does mean is that you have a different mission than some of these. The bottom line isn't just about the dollar.
Correct.
Right. So I'd like you to go back to something you were saying earlier on. Mentor. You had a mentor that you couldn't explain until after the reveal, and the reason why I'm asking you to do that is because you're clearly great mentors. So I'm wondering, and that's kind of why what this show was all about, why we ask about that mentor question early on, is to see how that formed you, going forward. Now you're doing the same thing for others. So who are these mentors?
Our first mentor.
I don't.
So me and D were on the same junior high school basketball team.
Yeah.
And I think we ain't gonna say the name, right?
Just say the name.
No. All right. So we had Coach.
Okay.
All right, Mr. He didn't even have us call him Coach. My name is Mr.
Okay.
All right, man.
That motherfucker was tough.
He was tough. I'm used to getting cussed out.
Mm-hmm.
I am too.
So it didn't bother me as much because my mama was way worse than him.
Okay.
But when you're doing basketball, it's like, this is supposed to be the fun time. When mom's cussing me out, I didn't take out the garbage. I didn't do my homework. You know what? I deserve that. Orlando, you mama. I missed the layup, dude. He fouled me. You didn't call the foul. Yeah, so Mr. He's definitely factored into my coaching style, but not as I want to be like him. It's like, I don't want my kids to look at me in that way.
Sure.
And I'm telling you right now, he gave me some basketball knowledge. I don't think he gave me any toughness, but in his eyes, I think he did.
He thought he was giving. Yeah, he thought it was making you harder.
And I'm like, nah, my mama did that. Trust me, man, you soft compared to my mama. So but he definitely resonate as that's a coach, but you don't want to be attached to his legacy as a coach. So I needed him in my life to make me who I am as a coach. Mm-hmm. And trust me, my kids say I'm a mean person.
He's explaining like a reverse mentor.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh no, for sure.
This is the first reverse mentor we've had on this show.
Because you've had them all throughout your life.
People have that. You have the people that you don't look up to. You look up and say, I don't want that.
Exactly.
I don't want to be like that.
Yeah,
and so that's an effect on you. He had a good effect on you.
Absolutely. That's the first time we had a story.
Now this is the thing. D won't want to admit this. D was one of his guys. So D didn't get it as bad as me. I wasn't as great of an athlete as Demetrius. I wasn't as great as a basketball player as Demetrius.
Okay.
So I got it a little worse, but I'm still looking at him like, bro, you ain't said nothing for me to quit. So you can keep going. I'm coming back every day until you cut me.
I've had basketballs thrown at me too.
But they didn't hit you. You were athletic enough to move.
He's
I couldn't move fast enough. But you know what, Miss? I'm gonna give you this credit. My mama threw a baseball at me and she missed me, and I think it goes back to the basketballs that you threw at me back in the day.
Thank you for my reflex.
Yeah, my reflexes got a lot better than Mr. But yeah, that was the thing. And with our kids now, they know Coach D, they know Coach O, and we have a great kid, loves us to death, both of us. We were about to play a game 2 years ago. And he came over to me. He's like, Coach, my mom would never let me play for that coach over there. And I looked at him. I was like, why not? Because all he does is yell at his kids.
Okay.
That's it. Mm-hmm. I was like, but we yell at you. No, you're teaching us and reminding us of what we did wrong. Mm-hmm. He's just yelling just to yell. And this kid at the time, no lie, is in the 6th grade.
Oh, God.
And he recognized that there's a difference between teaching and just yelling to yell. Like, you're having a bad day.
Yeah, he's just letting his frustration.
Why are you yelling at a 6-year-old or a sixth grader? So, no, our kids, and they're aware of it because of their parents, but we also reinforce it. We're like, hey, man, if you guys don't want to do it, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you can't blame us on the results because, and I use this with my high school kids, man, I have 0 turnovers. I have 0 missed shots. I have 0 fouls. I'm not playing the game. I put together the game plan. If you guys don't want to execute it, when we lose, I'm going to get blamed for it, and I'm okay with that because I'm an adult.
Right.
But I'm going to come back to you guys the next practice and be like, we're going to drill on this because I got blamed for it. We're going to drill on this because I got blamed for it. And so, they know. Yeah.
Is your program open to both boys and girls?
It is. We're working on the girls portion of it. It's a struggle to find enough girls to play.
Sure.
The amount of girls that play versus boys isn't really, equal. Girls are playing volleyball, they're doing other sports.
Right.
And so it's tough to find girls of the same age to be able to compete. But we have some girls that train with us. I coach girls basketball, and we're trying to figure something out there to where, in the summer and the off season, those girls can come and play with us. Okay. But yeah, so we're open to both. We're open to both.
Good.
We actually, D always told me, it's like girls are easier to coach than the little boys. Yeah. So we're open to it, and I'm looking forward to having a full girls team that I can coach because I've never coached girls. He's coached girls before,
right.
And he coached the girls team that we had under the Wildcats. We had a girls team before, but they were just high school and they graduated out. But I'm looking forward to the little 10U, 9U girls teams. So they'll be like, you're actually going to listen to everything I say and not talk back? What? We might even get better than I expected. So cool. That's where we're looking forward to.
Yeah, I think at some point in time we will have it. It's just a matter of time. I mean, with it just being us two right now, we got to take our time. We already have 7 teams between the two of us. And so
7 teams.
7 teams, yeah.
Wow.
And so trying to find more coaching and help on the administrative end has been a little bit of a struggle. So we don't want to grow too fast. But
important lesson.
Yeah.
But
so
the public is like, we need you to grow faster.
Yeah. Sure, but in business,
we have people tap us on the
shoulder.
No, it's not even that. It's just this business is his baby. This business is my baby. So it's like we have some guys that we want to pull in, but there's like 36 other people like, nah, we want to be a part of this. And we're like, we don't know if you fit. Yeah, we don't know if you fit. Okay. You just can't yell at the kids to yell at the kids. Our kids know, like, you're just yelling because you had a bad day. And they'll come to us and be like, he has to go. And they got to understand, we will get rid of you before we get rid of one of our kids.
Absolutely.
Right.
Kids first.
And that's what a nonprofit organization does. A for-profit will be like, nah, kid, you got to learn to deal with it, or we'll just replace you. We're like, no, we're here for the kids.
Right.
We're not here for the adult that just had a bad day,
Right.
So, yeah.
Good. Let's talk a bit about the COVID effect, because that's the world we're currently living in. How are you handling this? How are your kids handling this? How are you communicating with them? I'm sure you had to go through a period of no contact. Are you back playing together? What was the process?
It was tough in the beginning just because of the uncertainty. But I mean, when I say that I would not do this if we didn't have the group of kids and parents that we have, like, I mean that 1,000%. And so, initially we had to switch to Zoom. We're doing online training on Zoom, which, some kids like, some kids didn't like. And, from there we were able to do, some distance training, everyone's in masks and things like that. And for our kids, I have to say they're resilient, because we have practices, nobody takes a mask off, everybody keeps their distance. But another thing for us is that most of our kids were already in pods. And so we were lucky in that sense. For example, our, 5th grade team might all attend the same school or might all be from the same neighborhood. And so they're already in pods outside of what we do. And so that made our parents' comfort level a little bit easier rather than it just being 70 strangers. Mm-hmm. And so, by the way that our practices are structured outdoor, with the social distancing, with the masks, with the sanitizing, and with them already being in pods, the only thing that they're really missing out on is the game interaction, right? And the practice interaction. And so, I'm extremely proud of them for being able to navigate through this tough time, not being able to see your friends, not being able to go out and play a game if you want to play a game. I can only imagine how tough that is, Yeah.
He's let me just say this. Demetrius has been amazing throughout COVID. Mm-hmm. When COVID hit, he was like, we got to get on this Zoom training, man. And I was like, man, I don't know if they're going to like it. He's like, no, we just got to do it. Mm-hmm. So I would drive over to his house. He opened up his garage, and we did training in his garage 2 days a week.
Wow.
And then D was like, man, we got to get back outside. Let's figure this out, where we're going to go. So COVID, it's tough. But if you have a smart, strong-willed person, you'll be able to get through it. And D has been that for the Wildcats. He's definitely been the driving force to us making it through COVID. Okay. And now we're to the point now, and we always put it on the parents. We now have a survey going around. Are you okay with your son or daughter practicing with people in the pod? So with the Wildcats family. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's a yes. When are you okay with your kids playing? So we have a map of when we're going to get back. Governor Newsom just said June 15th, everything's going to open up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Governor Newsom like, man, we not trying to impeach you, man, but I don't know if that's a smart thing or not. So now we have to refocus. Okay, are we going to open up when the state open up, or are we going to put our kids
first? And that's the type of decision businesses need to make on their own.
Exactly.
Right. North County Daily Star is the leading source for news and community information along the 78 corridor. It's free to subscribe, and it is updated daily. Look for us on your mobile device or computer at ncdailystar.com.
Ignoring squeals and warning lights on your car is not a good way to lower the cost of owning it. And going without essential business insurance is not a good way to save money in your business. What we know for sure is doing either will cost you more than you will save in the short and the long run. With YourInsurancePlace.com, you can trust a specialist to help maintain your cars and avoid major expenses. Business owners should look to business insurance specialists when it comes to finding competitively priced, quality insurance coverage for their businesses. At YourInsurancePlace.com, we specialize in workers' compensation, general and professional liability, employment practices and cyber liability, property owner policies, and bonds for most types of businesses. YourInsurancePlace.com knows that we can help. If you're uncovered, need to lower the cost of your current insurance, or need better coverage, we can help. YourInsurancePlace.com has been helping businesses for close to 40 years. If you need a quote on your insurance, call us now at 858-569-8100 or find us at YourInsurancePlace.com. We are business insurance specialists ready to help.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fox, founder of StarFox Media. We're a digital marketing and video production company that focuses on serving small businesses here in Vista, California. We have the team and all of the equipment necessary to produce, film, edit, and distribute your podcast to as many people as possible. For more information, you can reach out to us via email at info@starfox.media or give us a call at 760-385-3117. Let StarFox Media help you tell your brand story today.
Established in 2013, Mermaid Valley Vineyard is a boutique winery located in the Ramona Valley, AVA. Nestled amongst the mountains just outside of San Diego, Mermaid Valley has abundant sunshine and cooling coastal breezes, making it an ideal location to produce fine wines. We offer estate-produced white, rosé, and red wines. Come out to Ramona and taste the fine wines at Mermaid Valley Vineyards for yourself. Open by appointment at 760-315-9011 or email at mermaidvineyard@gmail.com.
But at least it's open. Like you're not going to get fined, or you're not going to have other issues because of doing it prematurely.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys have followed the protocol. You have followed everything the way you're supposed to, and then as a business, you can make business decisions. And it's great that what you have is something that is incubated. You have something that can function on its own. You would like to do tournaments and all of that. So now, everybody's wondering, are you going to?
We'll do it as soon as the parents are ready. I mean, I think
When
right
the parents
now,
are ready.
if I had to say, I think we're about 50-50. So it's like I tell the parents, if we got 6 or 7 guys, and parents that are ready to go, I'll coach it. We both are vaccinated, so I don't mind it. But I think the direction that we will probably go in for the next few months is just doing our own tournaments, doing our own games, so that we can make sure that things are sanitized as good as they need to be, and make sure that the fans are properly masked and that there's the proper number of people in attendance, so that we're not the cause of anyone being sick or the number spiking.
And I love and respect that approach to it. I mean, your nonprofit is dealing with kids and their parents and their families. You're dealing with lives,
Right.
and bottom line, safety is the most important thing. And so, I think that's what every business needs to approach, is regardless of what the government is telling us what we can and can't do, it's how safe do we feel, and do we know that no one is going to be in danger because we're doing what we really want to do.
Right.
But that's not what it's about. It's about health and safety. And so I respect that. That's good that you're going to
I think with us, just being able to do it ourselves, and me from having a business background, I'd rather put the onus on me to be the one to have to make sure that everybody stays safe, instead of traveling 2 or 3 hours to someone's tournament and then you get there and no one has on a mask, or the place is filled to the brim with people and things like that, or no one's checking temperatures at the door. And so if we can, which is a big if, but we'll see what we can do. If we can, I think we'll do it ourselves. And I think that lesson will be better for us in the long run anyway. And so I think in the next couple of weeks we'll be able to put something together.
Okay. Excellent.
Talk to me about sweat equity. Talk to me. I see you on Instagram. I see you out there. I see you out there putting in that work for yourself as an example for others to follow through.
I think that it's I got to a point, I think I might have been probably in the first year in the master's program, and I had a job working for a nonprofit. I was making decent money, and I would find myself, every 3 months, like, I want a raise, right?
Yeah.
So I go in, I get on this plan, I get $1 raise. 3 months later, I go back, I get on this plan, I get another $1 raise. Finally, the director says, hey, we're a nonprofit. We can't give you raises like that. At the time, I'm throwing parties, and I'm looking at the revenue I'm making from the parties. I'm looking at the revenue that I'm making from work. And it's like, well, if I do 2 more parties a month, I probably would have tripled what I would make in a month working here,
doing your numbers.
And so, just realizing that I would rather put in the work for myself and bet on myself rather than have to sit and wait for someone to give me something. I decided that I wanted to have a choice. Right now, there's some jobs that I would take. I'm coaching at the high school. I get paid for that. But for me, I don't look at those checks, right? Because I'm not doing it for the money. Those checks are slim to none, some lunch money or gas money at best. But I have a choice, right? Mm-hmm. I can choose to do that, versus choosing to do something for myself and realizing that if I put the work in for myself, that, it'll be greater in the long run for me.
I love that. That's killing. Wait, that's a snippet right there in the show. We got to snippet that one out. Take them to the dollar store.
Dollar store. I love this segment.
Yes.
So this is the idea that you've bought something that was less than $100 that you have found so beneficial for your professional life. The idea that an entrepreneur doesn't have a lot of money to spend. This might help them get started, or maybe they're halfway through their career and they didn't realize this would be helpful. Mm-hmm. What's something that you didn't expect to be extremely helpful because it was cheap, but you use it almost every day?
I'll let you take that.
Wow.
I'll let you go first.
I think they want us to say one for me, one for you.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me,
Without advertising.
And don't tell me a basketball. 'Cause...
no, I would say a virtual assistant.
Oh,
Okay.
tell us more.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Give me more.
Okay, you guys gotta pay attention because I'm giving you
Yeah.
the game right here.
Give them the game.
I'm giving you the game. So basically, you can get you a virtual assistant from another country, for maybe, I would say, $3 to $8 an hour, depending on what you need. Because their currency is different from here, that will equal probably about our minimum wage. And so I've been able to hire a virtual assistant who basically handles all of our everyday tasks, who also does hiring for us, and basically runs, part of the business. Now, the downside of that is the time, the time schedule and everything, because they're on a different time zone. But, I would say that alone, that's your dollar store gem. Aside from that, interns, get some interns. Did I take that? I tried to let you go first. I tried to let you go first, man. But I tried to let you go first, but
They said one. Since he did two, he did mine. There you go. Go ahead.
all right,
Interns.
I give you two.
They're
man.
free.
I give you two.
You expand on interns.
Basically, if you go on a website, and I'm not going to give you the website because you got to do your work
There you go.
and look for interns for X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
you can find interns for free or little to no money.
And it's not just because you're using them to, but for your own benefit. You're actually giving
You're helping
them
them
some.
out. No, they're getting game too. So it's
Yeah.
a beneficial relationship. It's like, okay, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. At the same time, I'm going to teach you A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to start your own business, it's good. So yeah, internship.
We have some great interns, man. I think in the interviewing process, the first thing that I ask the interns are, hey, how can we help you get to where you need to get to in your profession? And they're shocked, because I don't think that they've been asked that before. And for me, I've had interns that have gone on, in the nightlife industry to be successful and to start, dancing companies and different companies and things of that nature. And so I think that my job, when having an intern, is to be able to allow you to go out and start your own business or be successful at whatever you want to do. It's not for you to be working for me for the next 3 to 4 years, or for me to have to hire you, which in some cases I have. But, for me, it gives me some gratification when I can see an intern go out there and I can say, you know what, that person learned a lot from me. To go out and be able to sustain on your own.
Interns are like assistant coaches. If you're a good head coach, your assistant coaches don't stay with you longer than what they have to. Meaning, hey, I'm going to get you promoted to your own position, your own program, or I'm going to get you to a higher level of being an assistant. You might be my number 3, but I'm going to send you over here. You're going to be their number 2 or number 1 assistant. So that's what the internship, it's similar to coaching.
You guys are like professional mentors.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
In a sense.
The more successful people you put out in the world, the more success comes back to you.
I love it.
You be careful, because Demetrius is an entrepreneur. He'd take that professionalmentors.com or something. I as we get ready to wrap up, I want to talk about competition. How you differentiate yourself. How do you step above the others, and not to disparage the other folks that
we won't say no names. Don't worry.
That might be your competition, but the simple fact of the matter is that there are others, and when you're trying to succeed in business, you're trying to succeed in life, there might be somebody else that's doing something similar to you or doing exactly what you do, that takes all of your business. So how do you guys differentiate yourself? I can see the heart in what you do. We clearly, right?
Yeah,
and we can see your intentions, but at the end of the day, you have to market yourself. You have to, make a point that shows that you're special.
Yeah. that's his area of expertise. But I'll start off.
Okay.
I'll start off.
Okay.
That,
You say interns first though, and before he.
No, he stole interns because I gave him the virtual assistant first. I'm here in the moment. Okay. Realistically, when we started, it wasn't about let's beat X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
Our focus was let's make the kids the focus.
Yes.
If we make the kids the focus, other kids will come because parents are tired of seeing Zeke yell at my kid for 3 years and my kid still can't dribble with their left hand. As opposed to, I've seen this little program over here grow from 1 team to 7 teams in those same 3 years. And I see kids have developed and they're having fun and everything. So we didn't look at, A, B, and C are in front of us. We're going to do this to beat them. We're going to do this. What we said is we're going to focus on the kid. And by focusing on the kids, we're getting kids from those other programs. So one of the things that we're working on now, can I tell them about it? The financial.
Sure.
Okay. In our program, we're starting a financial well-being program. So now, mind you, we got kids 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grades, but we're trying to teach them about stock market, about APRs and stuff like that. The earlier you learn it,
yes,
the less it's going to burn you later on in life. So, for example, we all went to college, and on the first day of college, what did they give you? You signed up for something, they gave you a T-shirt, and a couple of weeks later, you got a credit card.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Sure, okay.
And they didn't say about APR or what you're going to do with it.
Sure.
You got to pay about it. They just give you the card, and for a kid, it's like, you gave me how much money?
All right.
I'm good.
Right.
So for us, especially as high school coaches, we want our kids being able to say, okay, you gave me this card. I'm going to sign up for it. I'm going to buy me a pack of gum. I'm going to pay off that pack of gum. I'm going to buy it every month and pay it off every month. And I'm going to watch my credit score go up as opposed to going down. So we're building in a financial well-being part of our AAU program.
I love that.
And so
That's amazing.
And that's, like I said, that was one of his brainchild. You know, we have somebody else that we're going to bring in to run it. A young man that's been in risk management for over 20 years, and he's excited. He's like, hey, I'm gonna hold these kids accountable. And I'm like, good. That's what we're here for.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
Wonderful.
And for the record, Zeke doesn't yell at kids.
No, I'm just saying.
It was just an example. And I'm left-handed, so I dribble with my left hand. Everything he said was just an example.
Zeke does
Demetrius,
not
you want to
dribble
expand
with
on
his left hand.
No, he
I've
can't
seen
dribble.
him
No,
play
I can't
basketball.
I'm ambiguous. I mean, ambidextrous.
He's also ambiguous.
Okay, Pat.
Go ahead. Go ahead, D. You want to expand on that?
Yeah, I think for me, I was able to take, the marketing and tools that I use from events and things like that, and use that in a sense here. But I think that where we kind of differentiate ourselves is that we're not looking for the next superstar. Right. We, you see these guys and you see all these videos and for me, I'm pretty much in tune with what's going on. And so I'm like, you know what, that kid was good when he was 10. He's 17 now and you're posting these videos and you're taking credit. The kid was already good. Now my thing is, can you take a kid who's never played before or who has, a limited amount of experience and teach them the fundamentals and help them get better? So for us, it's not about, having the next big thing or the next, the next superstar or posting videos of people who already know what they're doing. It's about developing kids on and off the court so they can sustain in life and become productive basketball players. Right. So can you understand an offense? Can you, run an offense? And a part of it is on the kids as well, and the parents in terms of practice outside of what we do. But, can you walk into a room and understand a high school or a college coach in the terminology? Right? You don't have to make a layup to be able to do that. Can you recognize certain situations and things of that nature? And so I think that's kind of where we differentiate ourselves from everybody else. Is it's not about winning games as much as it is the developmental part.
Don't get us wrong, though. We tell our kids, as you develop, and get better, we'll win more games.
And we do.
And don't get caught up in just the wins and losses because, that's short-sighted. We weren't looking like the big picture.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry, dude.
You know what? Before I get out of here, I got to talk a little bit more about your entrepreneurship. Your style. I got to talk a little bit because I told you. I said in the intro. You my motivation. I've owned business since I was 17 years old. So I've always been in business. But when I first met you, and I want to say it was around 2000, 2001, somewhere around that time. You've been owning businesses since I've met you. And I just dig in there a little bit more for me so that we can, let other folks know, I shouldn't say how to be like us, but, how to be like us.
I think it's a mindset. I think that, you have to be willing to put in the work, first of all. And then, you got to understand how to take losses. And that's one of the things that I had to learn early was how to take a loss and how to bounce back from a loss. I give you one story before we go. I was doing this New Year's Eve party. I had all these Raider guys hosting it, and party was sold out, tickets sold out. Owner calls me day of and says, "Hey, I need 10 more thousand from you." I said, 10 more thousand for what? So, you got to give me 10 more thousand. I'm not opening the doors. I said, "Well, I don't have 10 more thousand to give you. I've already spent all my money on this, and everything is sold out, as you can see online." He says, "Well, if you don't got the 10,000, I'm not opening the door." So I said, "Well, I got a decision to make. I can take back the limousines that I got all of these guys. I can not show up to the party and take everybody's money and run," because there were people at the time that were doing that. But I said, "You know what?" I called all the guys up. I said, "Hey, they're not open the doors. I got you guys set up somewhere else. You take the limousines, you go there." I go down to the club. It's raining. I sit outside in the rain, and I tell everybody I'm here. Guys not opening the door. Refund everybody their money. This is New Year's Eve. This is 31st. Rent's due on the 1st. So that means that I'm tapped out. So I never forget, I called my aunt from Virginia, right? I said, Auntie, I'm down right now, She says, "You know what? You'll figure it out." She says, "You figure it out." Right? Very same day, I get a call from a couple of the guys, and they say, "You know what? That was very respectable what you did. Most people would have, because we got money, we could have handled it on our own, but you kept your word. And because of that, whatever you want us to do from here, we're not going to charge you a dime. We'll show up to whatever you need us to show up to."
Beautiful.
And we'll look out for you like that. And so the place that I ended up sending them to ended up being one of the hottest spots in the city over the next 2 or 3 years because of that night, right? And so they liked it. They told the owner, "Hey, we'll show up here, but only if you have this guy run it. He's the only reason we came here." And so, that's kind of how I took off. And so, I say that lesson to be is just, keep your word, be respectable, and understand how to take losses and have a plan, right? And so it's like, hey, COVID hits. Well, what's the plan? What are we doing? Are we gonna just sit back and wait? Are we gonna try to move around and do something on Zoom and go outdoor and try to figure something out?
Rent out a whole facility.
Rent out a whole facility if you have to. That's what being an entrepreneur is about.
I love it. Amazing.
Yeah.
Great story. Last words to the youth. Orlando, I'm gonna give it to you, and it can be whatever. Yeah, we got to speak to them. We got to speak to them. So
Come on, Coach.
it could be the mental health factor. Right? It could be exercise. It could be education. It could be setting goals. It could be pieces of in any of what we've spoken about today. But I just want you to give us a little
a lot
talk.
of stuff you just threw into my head right there. So I'm gonna leave it, and it applies to COVID, but it's bigger than COVID.
All right,
young people, be ready for the new normal, because when COVID hit, we had a new normal, and now COVID is sort of going away. It's going to be a new normal, so you have to be able to go with the flow. It applies to business owners too, and that's what Coach D just talked about. It's like, hey man, you got to be ready to adjust on the fly. So don't get set in your ways. Just understand the new normal is what you should always be focusing on.
I love it.
There it is. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I just a couple of notes that I've been taking. Entrepreneurship. Let's talk about it. The willingness to put in the work. What Demetrius was just talking about, right? Taking losses and bouncing back. Having a plan. Delivering on what you promised, just like I was saying in the intro. And like Coach O said, being ready for the new normal.
Right.
Have
a game
we want to
plan.
say thank you to Coach O and Coach D.
Big thank you.
Orlando and Demetrius, a big, huge thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us. And, we're not going to kick you out today, but we are celebrating your birthday. So happy birthday, Orlando.
All right.
All
Happy
right.
birthday.
Let's give out some contact information,
Yes,
please.
that's right. So to check out their nonprofit, you can go to www.bayareawildcats.org. They're also on Instagram, Bay Area Wildcats Basketball. And you can check out Demetrius's event and wedding planning business. He's got www.location415.com and on Instagram @location415.
That's right.
Thanks for being here. This was
Thank
fun.
you, guys.
This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for
That
having
was
us.
awesome, man. Thank you for you guys. Those were great stories. Awesome.
Yeah.
And love to moms.
For sure. She helped mold me who I am.
That's right.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to the Same Business Different Day podcast. Special thanks to StarFox Media for video production and James Russell on music production. Please like and subscribe to the Same Business Different Day podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Same business, different day.